Great. Well, so it is now 10 past the hour, 10 past 6 my time. So welcome, officially welcoming everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. We're very excited to have you here, very excited to introduce you to this healing webinar and AIM project, Great Aim for Greatness project. In the project is myself, and which everyone knows, I think, and Anne and Michelle as well. Anne and Michelle, say hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Here we go. Great. So, yes, Michelle, do you want to take it away?
I will. So our goal for today is to bring awareness and ease to all of you, even the camera shy ones, and be able to show you a way that might be different than you've had for your self-care and wellness, and hopefully inspire you with a few things. And what we want to do is also create a healing space for you today so you can experience how the three of us work, but also how quickly and easily some of these tools may work for you and start to build your wellness toolbox. So I'm going to start by asking you to do a couple of assessments before we do anything, so you can notice at the end of our time together what changes have happened. So if you would find a way to put your feet flat on the ground and to be sitting comfortably. And from that position, if you want to turn your head to the side to notice how far you can see and what does it feel like. And again, it's just an assessment, so you just want to notice. Can you see all the way behind you? Or are you getting about 90 degrees right to the side? And as you turn your head, is it even on both sides, or do you have one side that's a little tighter than the other? So you just want to notice that. And then from there, if you just want to turn your hands, just feel your wrists, maybe make a fist. Notice what your joints feel like in your hands. You could also turn your ankles, hear them crack. That was mine. Just to notice, what do the joints feel like before we start? And then if you want to reach one hand over your head and just notice what it feels like to lift. You notice individual muscles that kind of appear as you're lifting, and also range of motion, and is it even on both sides? Okay. And then if you would like to reach down towards your toes, you don't have to touch your toes, but what does it feel like to go down towards your toe? And if you're doing one hand to one foot at a time, is it equal on both? If you're going both at the same time, where might the tightness show up first? Is it in your back, upper back, middle back, lower back? Is it in the hip, or is it down the back of the leg? And then, despite how we started with our challenge to get everybody here by link, any monkey thoughts that you have? Have you had any ideas that have kind of been repeating themselves through your head today or in the last couple of days? Or have you had just mental clarity? Okay, and then we're going to review those at the end so you have a way to compare. How did you start and how did you finish? Okay, and from there, we want to introduce ourselves to you formally. So Catherine has met us before, but we're going to go through the descriptions so everybody else gets a chance to hear. So I'm Michelle Greenwell. I do have a doctorate in complementary and integrative health. My specialty is movement to heal the body, and I can do that through basic activities, which are Tai Chi and dance, but I can also do it through different kinds of energy modalities like touch for health, therapeutic touch, neuroreflex integration, and then I love to play with sound essences and flowers. I have a tea company, so I also play with tea. So I have quite a diverse way that I like to play with tools and help to provide the space for people to have empowerment tools in their hands. So I'm going to pass it to Anne, and she can share the tools that she has.
Thank you, Michelle. Hello, everybody. I'm Anne from company Balance. I'm Belgian. We are based in Bruges at the moment, and I'm a holistic health practitioner. I was trained over many years spending time in Southeast Asia. So all my studies have the base of the Universal Healing Dao system. It's a very comprehensive system where we really work with all the layers of our being, the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and karmic. And on top of that, I have also extended and heightened my own frequency through self-development. And now I also work as a 5D light worker. So the way I like to look at life is that we're all interconnected and everything is in the mind. So we are part of the universe and the cosmos below and above. And that's how I approach also healing. And I'm convinced that everybody has the innate capacity of self-healing within them. And that's what I'm really passionate about, of inspiring people that even through small techniques, small practices, we can already achieve a lot to manage our own health. Thank you. Enough?
Great. So yes, hi everyone. So I'm gonna share a little bit about myself, and then I would like to just give a kind of a few seconds introduction to the Aim for Greatness project. So we have more context. So I think all of you know me, but I'll repeat. So I'm Einav Avni. I'm originally from Israel. I live in London or Sutton. I've been here in the UK 30 years now, something along those lines. So definitely a long time. I do what I call alignment coaching. So that really looking at where we are operating from fears and limitations and compromises, and how, on the other hand, we can find our alignment, harmony, empowerment, the things that we really meant to do or be in life when we stop paying so much attention to our fears. With that, I also bring the emotion code, the body code, and the belief code. And I use this interchangeably to work with people mostly suffering from chronic conditions, but of course, anyone that is having any challenges that are physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. And what I bring to the project, when we meet in my sessions with you, then we do 2 hours, 1 hour of conversations or coaching, and another hour of healing. But really, the Aim for Greatness project came from an understanding that I had one day that actually just working one-on-one with one practitioner is wonderful, but sometimes they're just hidden corners, blind spots that this one practitioner might not be able to provide. And so bringing other people, other practitioners together to come together and look after the person in a more round way was probably very beneficial. And with that, we started the Aim for Greatness phase 1, which we are just finishing now. And with that, I guess just to briefly mention, each of our practitioners, we meet with you one-on-one for three times. So you get 9 sessions altogether. And then there is also, of course, a community element, and we will touch more on that later on. I just wanted to kind of say something about the project because we kind of dived straight in. So now you know each of us a little bit more, and now you know a little bit more about the project. And Michelle, I'll move it back to you.
Perfect. So our ambition now is to find out what your goal might be for being here today. So one, maybe to learn more about the Aim for Greatness project and how it might be able to support you. And 2 would be something that might be bothering you at the moment, an ache or a complaint, low energy, didn't get enough sleep last night, you'd like a little bit of a boost. So if you just want to write down something that is your goal that you would like to have today, and maybe you want us to say something specific that pertains to some of the things that you deal with. So if you even write that down, then it might come out of our mouths quicker. We'll let you do that. And then I'm just going to get you to check that you didn't say I want or I will, but used I am or I have, just to make sure you have it in the present, so you haven't put it into the future. Is everybody okay? Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give you a little taste of how each of us works. So you have an opportunity to see some of the approaches that we use. Each one, of course, depends on you as a person, what your goals are, and what your priority is going to be. And once we have determined those kinds of things, then we would engage in the activities and the tools that we have available. But for today, we chose a couple that would complement each other, but also complement maybe what you would be bringing to the table today. So we're going to start off with Anne, and she's going to share a little bit about the belly button.
Yes, thank you, Michelle. Yes, I have decided today that I want to share with you all one of my favorite tools. It's a easy hack to really introduce self-care, and no excuse, I have no time or it's too difficult, but it's so effective to your entire being. And that has to do with the belly button and our abdomen. I'm specialized in abdominal treatments. One part is the Chin Sang treatments, but I work a lot with the belly button because I consider everybody's belly button as a sacred spot, a place, the center of our being, basically. So I'll try to explain it a little bit first, and then we'll do an exercise together. So if we look in the Taoism, we look at our body and our being, and we would say we have our 3 brains. So we have obviously the head brain, the thinking part, the monkey mind, like Michelle mentioned. We have the heart brain, which is basically the seat of our soul. And then we have the gut brain. The gut brain is like the feeling, the inner knowing, and the gut brain and the head brain, they're constantly in connection with one another. So our belly is an extremely important part of our body. And then if we take it a bit further down to the navel, our belly button, which is very often a forgotten place. And it's a shame because it's a sacred place. Because if you think of it, we are connected with our mother, with the umbilical cord, and that's obviously when as a soul we incarnate. That's where we get all our nutrients, our blood, but also our information, our DNA come out of that umbilical cord. So, and if we trace it back, just imagine yourself in a time rocket. Your mother was connected to her mother, and her mother to her mother. So we trace back in time of humanity, eons back. This goes back to animals, to plants, and initially our very essence comes out of the earth. We all have essence of earth in us. And the belly button is that connection to our interconnectedness with the Mother Earth and the cosmos. Now, if we regard that and we start to look at what it does for us on a physical level, it's around the belly button that we have a tight net of the central nervous system coming together, and all our vital organs are basically connected to the belly button as well. So by massaging the belly button, feeling around, you can tell which organ is off balance a little bit. It's fascinating, and it's important that we keep our gut. Basically, we can look at it as a muscle. It has to be soft and supple so that energy can flow and our body temperature can be high. So we can do so much with just massaging our belly button. For me, this belly button breathing technique is ideal. I like to do it at night when I'm in bed, because what it does also, it will calm down your mind. Basically, if we're looking at the body's yin and yang energies, we have two vessels: the governor vessel from our back, governor meridian, and then we've got the conception meridian. And the back of our body is where we collect the yang energy, the hot energy, and the front is the yin energy, colder and wetter. So I just want you to check for yourself when you put your hands on your belly to start. What temperature is your belly? You will find that very often the belly, when you first touch it, is like a colder temperature as the rest of your body. And very often the heat is all in the head, the monkey mind, and the belly area is cold and it's low energy. By doing this exercise, we can circulate that around and we can bring the heat from our head down into our gut area, our kidneys, our dantian, our energy compilation, and the cold energy can come up and cool our brain. So what it does at night is that it slows down our thinking patterns and we get a nice and deep sleep. It's one of the advantages. There are many more. It also helps to increase your general energy. It will help improve joint pain, muscle pain, back relief. So it has a lot of benefits. So with all due, let's meet the belly button. You can do this technique very easily yourself, and all you need to do is place your fingers together like a little coin. Just make sure your nails are not like stilettos. Long nails won't work, but keep them nice and short. And then the coin you're gonna place inserted in your belly button, so in the middle. That's going to be the technique. Now, before we start activating the belly button, let us just massage a little bit our entire belly. And we like to do that clockwise. So from bottom right, we go up underneath the rib cage, across solar plexus area and down. And just take nice deep breaths. And I invite you to close your eyes and to just connect with your own wonderful belly. It's such an important area of the body. It will help also against constipation. It will increase your digestive system. It will help your immune system just by activating that belly button. So, and now we're gonna do a 2-minute belly button breathing. I will time it for you. So put the coin, inserted coin in the center of the belly button and just give gentle pushes, like little gentle pushes inside your belly button, and focus on the exhale. So the exhale is a bit forcer than the inhale. And we're gonna do this nice and gentle during 2 minutes. And just keep the eyes closed and feel if there is any kind of tension. Maybe you feel some warmth building up in the gut area, even down to your legs and feet. Just gently press that belly button area. And just, you might start yawning because this is all the blocked energy. The blockages will get released. So it collects a lot of, so through the umbilical cord, all the information that we inherit from our ancestors. It can also be that there is even trauma, unexplained trauma, fears, things that sit stuck there that we can release as well. So just Gently press and relax. And be grateful for that connection to all life by your own belly button. And you do it just as gentle or a little bit harder to your own feeling. If you have a thin skin, then I would do it very gentle and just as nice and soft. We do 1 more minute. Nice and warm, like you can just release all the tension. So you do this before bed. You don't have to put the timer. If you do about 300 of the pushes, that's a good cycle. And now we just slowly ease the pushing and take a nice deep breath in through the belly first, as if you have a nose on the belly button. Inhale fresh energy, and on the exhale, you're gonna point your fingers a little bit upwards to the center of your belly button. If you would draw 2 lines, you cut the belly button into two. It's at number 12 on the clock, the top of the belly button, and you're gonna activate that top part gently. And you can massage that top part as well. Now, this is the part that is connected to our heart and lung area. So by pressing this area, we now can mindfully focus and imagine ourselves that we're opening up our heart like like a lotus flower. It's popping open. And with that, we're opening the heart and we connect heart to everybody on this webinar and on all of those who will listen to the replay, so that we are connected heart to heart in this beautiful bubble of golden light energy, the 5D energy of Mother Earth. So it may be that that area is a bit tense, so then you can also wiggle it a little bit. And then you open up that whole area. Maybe you start feeling that you can breathe deeper because it also releases the tension in the lungs. And let's take a deep breath in. And once again, you can think of your intention for this session. And we just imagine now coming out of our heart a nice golden thread. And we just plug it into everybody else's heart who is here now or in the future. And we'll be energetically connected. And then you can slowly open your eyes. And just feel, do you feel any difference? Is it nice and warm? You can share if you like. Be interested to hear. Great.
It was definitely an overall sensation of heat coming.
Yeah.
Right, and then Michelle is saying, I'll just read, yeah. So Michelle Delport, lots of yawning, yeah, lots of release. And Michelle Greenwell, the breath are nice and deep now. It's wonderful to notice that.
Nice, yeah.
Great. So if we're ready, we're going to move on to my part of the demonstration. And I'm going to choose someone and I'm going to show you how I release some emotions from the heart wall. So just a second. So if you want to be a volunteer, please raise your hand and I will muscle test who to choose from. So the heart wall, which I'm going to release 5 emotions from, the idea is, because we are all energy, when we go through emotional events or trauma that we can't process, the energy of the emotions become trapped in our bodies. And every emotion has a size and a shape, so it's actually pressing on our glands and organs. So when I use the emotion code, I use my methods to release emotions that are pressing down on the glands and the organs. But what the body is doing, which because it's so clever in this way, is that it says, right, sometimes I need to protect you from, if you're too fragile and you can't, I don't want you to go roaming around the world being very fragile and, suffering. So I need to protect you. And in order to do this, I'm grabbing trapped emotions from around the body and build a wall around your heart. And in this way, you have more distance between yourself and these events that you are experiencing. So the heart wall is really here to protect you, but the problem is that now you're living from behind the wall. So maybe you're feeling more lonely or not connected so well with other people. Maybe it's really hard to build relationship or connections with other people. Maybe you're feeling isolated or that you are, always an outsider. There's very many disadvantages to living from behind this wall. So what I would do now, I would randomly choose. I think there's a way somewhere here to raise your hand to see if you are interested. But I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's in reactions, maybe.
It's in reactions. Yeah.
Do you in reaction? Okay, recognize. Okay, so Michelle. Okay, great, and Catherine. Okay, so I'll just muscle test, and of course, the way that I do this, I connect with your subconscious mind with your permission. And then I ask your subconscious mind, what emotions are the ones that I can release now? So the subconscious mind, its number one job always is to protect you. And if it feels that you still need the emotions, it will not let me release them. But most of the time, it recognizes that what we are doing here is for your higher good. And it allows us to release it. So when I'll tell you in a minute who I'm going to work with. I'll tell you the type of emotions and the emotion itself. And if I need, and I think that's probably mostly what I need. And then to release it, to ask the question of the subconscious mind, I use muscle testing. So you might see me do something of that. And I get yes for, I get a locked fingers for yes and a no lock for no. And then I release it by moving my hand above the governing meridian that Anne mentioned earlier. So I have Catherine and Michelle muscle test who to go with, and it is Michelle in this time. So Michelle, I will, with your permission, connect with you. Okay, and then I will go on my app just so I have my app. That's what I use. So I'll take a moment to connect and then I'll release the 5 emotions. If you can help me by taking a note of the emotions just for yourself, because when I do a demonstration, I immediately forget everything. So I don't know how many emotions I've done and I don't know what I found. So if you can help me with that, that would be amazing. Michelle, you want to say something?
I was just going to say, for the rest of us, we're just going to hold the space
Yes.
so that we're a part of the process, and we have the opportunity to support what Michelle will be experiencing.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. Right. So I'll just take a moment to connect. Okay, so we are now connected, and I'll just tell you first which emotion and then the emotion itself. So the first emotion is a preconception. It's an emotion that your spirit experienced before you came down to this world to becoming you. So I'll just find the actual emotion and then I'll release it. So the emotion is conflict. So I'll release that one. And then I check and the emotion is cleared. So then I'll find the next emotion. And this time it's a common emotion. That means an emotion that you created for yourself in this lifetime. This is emotion of anger. So I'll release that emotion. Okay, so this also emotion is gone. Okay, so the next emotion that we're finding is a prenatal one, which means that mostly your mom or your dad, or maybe a significant someone that was around when you were being made, they experienced the emotion, but you trapped it already. So I'll tell you which emotion, and then if I can find who it's from. So the emotional is crying. That's when you feel like you want to cry, but you're not feeling that it's safe or okay to do so. So you hold it all inside, and then of course, it's becoming a trapped emotion. So this is this is from the third trimester, and this is from your dad. So and sometimes the subconscious might say, "Oh, it's a dad," but maybe it was an uncle or a family friend, but it says dad. So I'll just release it. So I'm releasing it from you, not from your dad, because I don't know if he trapped it as well. Okay, so. Okay. So now I'll find the next one. So we have another common emotion. So this is emotion of abandonment. So this is from around age 14. That's needed to come out. So now I'll release this emotion. Okay, and then do we have one more, if I'm correct? One more. Okay. So we have another common emotion. And this is emotion of effort unreceived. This is when we do something and we want our efforts to be acknowledged, and maybe we can be rewarded or awarded, but it goes, nobody noticed. So that is the emotion. So I'll release that one. Okay, so these are the 5 emotions. So just tell me, how are you feeling? What are you noticing? And I'm also curious to hear from other people if what they noticed as well, because a lot of the time people feel it as well. But Michelle, how did you find it?
So I feel fine. I'm I'm surprised at the self-inflicted common emotions that you allow yourself to be caught up in, and so I'm grateful to have that released. And just a moment of feeling sorry for my dad, but yeah, that.
Yeah, yeah. But I think I just want to say that when you said self-inflicted, but actually it's so easy for us, isn't it, to, first of all, a lot of the time we feel an emotion coming and then we just push it away because it's like, I better not feel it. We're so good at not wanting to feel our emotions. But also, I think it's also a process of when we're so used to not acknowledging the emotions or not to processing them correctly or at all in most cases, then we're not even aware that they're in our in our horizon, that we don't even know that they're coming, so we don't know how to process them. But thank you for the opportunity to release. Anyone else wanting to share anything that they felt or they noticed about themselves as I was releasing the emotions for Michelle? No.
I would say a commonality. Feeling very similar. Yes, I could agree with all of those that you released. Feeling those within myself as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting that especially when we're doing a demonstration, I might walk with one person, but other people feel things released from them as well. Yeah, and had an experience like that the other day when she was translating on a session that I was running. So it was very interesting that yeah.
Yeah, also now I had a lot of yawning, so a lot of release again.
Yeah, excellent. Yes, and it's always people are always fascinated, I think is the right word, by how many things we can trap and we don't even know. And so um, it's really incredible. I always say that I've never been to a session and say, actually, there's nothing there, you all cleared. I've never, this session is yet to come. Yes. And just to reassure you, Michelle, that of course now that the demonstration finished and we're no longer connected. So you're back to you and I'm back to me now. Great. So Michelle Greenwell, now back to you, over to you, and you're part of the demonstration. Oh, yeah, I think you're muted.
There we go. Sorry. Are there any questions so far? Everybody's okay? Okay. All right. So I'm going to take you now to the spine, and I'm going to move into the emotions that are along T8 to T12, thoracic spine. So the middle of the back down to the lower back. And I'm focused on that. This week was International Spine Day. And I always like to bring awareness to the fact of how each of the vertebrae in the spine have their own frequencies, but they also have their own emotions and their own spiritual connections. And so if we're compacted or our joints are not being supported and kept with space, then we can compact that frequency and then we can start to feel those emotions come out just because of the way that our spine is functioning. So for example, at T8, so that's going to be just below the ribs in the center of the back between the shoulder blades. That's where self-esteem, self-love, and self-image sit. And so when we start to pick at ourselves, you look in the mirror and my hair isn't quite right, or, whatever, sometimes that's coming from a back that's holding tension. And it's not really coming from us specifically being critical. At T9, that's where being stressed out happens. So you can go along and have a lovely day, and then all of a sudden it's like, and you wonder, well, how did that happen? I was having a lovely day. If you've been sitting stationary and you haven't actually moved the spine, that might be taking the brunt of that time. And then it'll show up as feeling stressed out. It also has to do with inner knowing and confusion. So then detaching from yourself and not having awareness of who you are and what you're doing in that moment can happen at that same time. If we go to T10, that is feeling unloved, unappreciated, and the inability to find community. So again, if you spend a lot of time sitting in one position, you were driving in a car, sitting on the chair, working at your computer, then you can actually diminish your connection to others. And you just think, oh, I've just been sitting at my computer for a while, but actually it's shut it down. So there was no need to get up from the computer and to go engage with anybody or make a connection. So those kinds of emotions can come up. And then you think, oh, I'm not really connected. And then unloved and unappreciated quickly shows up. From there, we have T11, which is about abandonment, being deserted, or feeling doom. So that suppression and that deepness. And a lot of people will complain about their lower back being tight. And that's where those emotions can come up. That spot starts to really feel the tension. And the last one is T12. So T12, we're down into the hollow of the arch of the back, just before we get to L5, which is kind of the two soft spots on either side at the base of the spine. And this has to do with rage, hate, and getting pissed off. So this is where you react without realizing, and you go, gee, why did I do that? I was doing all right. And then all of a sudden it was like, that really irritated me. And that is, again, that's where that suppression comes in. And T12 is where emotional balance and flow happens. So you want that spine to be lifted, suspended, and feeling like it could do anything and go in any direction. Okay, so in order to activate it, I'm just going to get you to do a little exercise from Tai Chi. And I'm going to just draw this down so you can see my hands. Your feet are connected to the floor. Got the hands out. They're going to be actually out in front of your knees. And just feeling the connection between your hands. Okay, I'm just going to draw this up just a little bit. Slide myself backwards. And then what I want you to do is just push into your right foot, and it's going to turn you towards the left, and your hands are just going to go so they're over top of your knee, be your left knee. And then if you push into your left foot just a little bit, your spine is going to rotate over to the right. Okay, so we've got push into the foot, feel that rotation come around, and then push into the foot and feel it go back. And the rotation is coming from your belly, not from your hands. So inside you can start to feel how all the muscles are working with each other and connecting. Now I chose T8 to T12 because the psoas muscle, which is part of the water element from Chinese medicine, has to do with fear and anxiety. And it connects on T8 to T12, and then it connects to the top of your leg. And it's how you raise your leg or how you bend forward. And so by inspiring this section, we can calm fears, we can calm emotion, and we can also open up the space in between each of the vertebrae all the way up the spine, right to the top of the head. And that's going to help with all those emotions I described. Okay, that gives us a few times to go back and forth. So now if you sit, just notice what it feels like to sit now. And it may be that you're sitting up, but now it has no effort on it. You may notice that the chest lifted. You may notice that the shoulders might have shifted. It might have dropped. You may notice that the neck might feel like it's a little bit longer. Everybody has something a little bit different. So now what I want to do is I want to open up the space in between the joints. And we can't reach our backs ourselves. So what I'm going to get you to do is tap into the little soft spot in your wrist. So right where it bends, there's a little dimple in there. And I'm just going to get you to just firm pressure, just tap into that space. And as you do that, you may notice that your lower back starts to relax a little bit. And you may notice you go from kind of sitting up on the sit bone, which was straight, into sitting towards the tailbone. And that's the sweet spot where all the joints open. Okay, and then if you go into the other wrist and just tap into there. And once you're sitting in that sweet spot, you'll notice that any which way you want to move, the whole body seems to be activated to go together. Awesome. All right. And then the last part that we want to do is you had a goal in mind at the beginning. Maybe it was an ache or complaint or something in the body. So just draw awareness to what that might have been. And if it was an activity, a feeling, a goal where you want to go, just bring it to mind. And then you're just going to nod your head 3 times forward. So you're just going to go forward and straight, forward and straight, forward and straight. And then we're going to take our fingertips, put them into the top of the head at the back. And you're just going to nod 3 more times. All right. And then one more, we're going to take our fingers, make 2 little cones. We're going to put them right by our jaw and just nod 3 more times. Beautiful. So now as you're sitting in the space where you are, you can notice what that breath is doing. nice release happening there. I don't know if everybody else felt that. Okay. And so now that's the end of my portion and working with the spine. So now what I'd like you to do is go back to those initial assessments and see if we've had a change besides the yawns and the deep breath. So first thing is turn your head to the side and see now if you can see all the way to the back. So did you have an increase in your range of motion? Okay, some thumbs up. Perfect. Okay. Sarah Jane, how about for you? There was, okay, perfect. All right. Hopefully it became more even on either side as well. Now, if you go to the joints, make a fist with your hands and notice if the joints close a little bit easier into the fist. Is that different? Okay. All right, some head nods. Okay. You can turn your wrist, feel what that feels like, and then you remember whether you had cracking in your ankles before. What does the ankle feel like? Okay, a little bit different. Okay, perfect. All right, then if you go to raising your arm over your head, what does that feel like? I always love watching this because everybody quickly goes up. The first time everybody goes really slow. There's this I don't know, contemplative kind of thing. This is like, yep, there I am. And so your reaction time to things is significantly changed. Instead of slowly moving into it, you actually move and you feel connected. So, all right. And then if you reach down towards your toes, see if it's the same point that's holding some tension or if it's changed and maybe it's completely released. And maybe you go down and you just notice that everything wants to open and then come back. Is that different? Okay, awesome. And then the last is check in with that lower back. So if it was tight before, see if you move around, if it seems to have released with all that we did for it today. Okay, and got some head nods. Okay, and the last is the monkey thoughts. I'm hoping that you're just sitting and it's just like, yep, I'm here. And the grocery list and the everything else you wanted to do today is kind of off somewhere until you want to bring focus back. Okay. So with that, we wanted to show you how these tools can change your trajectory, but also by the way that we bring the goals in, we are able to actually offer you a way to move through a lot of material very quickly. And as a group, as you could see with what Einav did with Michelle, all of us benefit by being involved together. And this changes things from where you book an appointment to go to see one person for something and another person for something, and another person for something else, because we all collectively are going to be together through the 9 sessions that we offer. So each person has their individual 9 sessions, but those 9 sessions are supported and magnified out to the rest of the group. And so every time somebody is meeting and connecting, we're all benefiting. And that changes the impact of your sessions and also the trajectory of what you can do. Because as we show you how to work with a bioenergetic wellness formula, how to goal set and set intentions every day, you really start to move through everything very quickly. And you start to transform areas that you might not have been thinking about as well, because somebody else is thinking about it and they're looking at it from their perspective. Okay. All right. Any questions to there? No. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about specific ailments, challenges, anything that you wonder how we might approach it, or what you might be able to anticipate. Is there anything that way?
I think
the
maybe
sun.
it's maybe it's interesting to, because I know that a lot of a lot of people, you know, they might have their own specific, like I said, ailment or conditions or something, and I hope that we've given an idea of how we work with everyone to release or reduce the symptoms. But yes, I think if no one wants to bring forward their own condition or ailment, maybe we can talk about a random one that we know a lot of people have, and kind of talk a little bit more about how we each would approach it. Now we need to choose one. um, I guess something that comes up in every now and again that I hear a lot about, and I don't know if anyone here is feeling it or experienced that, but it's a restless leg. Actually, that came to my mind. So let's hear from the three of us. How would we work with people to help release or eliminate or reduce this challenge?
I get that question all the time. Anne, how about for you?
Yeah, not often, but it does happen indeed. Yes, I do get
Oh,
Um, yeah, and Anne is actually on the water at the moment, which is why her internet is not so stable.
we'll give a
Um,
minute for. Oh, there we go. You're back, Anne. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a bit wobbly at the moment.
Do you want to answer that because we
do
didn't
you
get
want
to hear
to?
you?
Yes, can you hear me all right? Yeah, when I
Yes.
do get the question, it very often is in cases with people who have sleeping disorder, and the restless leg would always very often happen in the night and be painful. So I don't know if am I still connected? I think, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But the way I look at these situations is I look at the whole picture, and what we try to find is a cause of a trigger. I call them triggers. Don't want to call it a disease or an unease. There is a trigger that causes an effect, but it's more underlaying, and very often it's like an onion that we peel session after session, and that's why I love working so much with the three of us together, because it seems like every session can go on to a deeper layer faster. And quite often you start with a physical discomfort, but then you come to the core where it's an emotional blockage that can even go up to the karmic level of an unexplained information that's been taken over the lifetimes, and that we then eventually can release. Not just a release of an energetic blockage, but we also look at lifestyle, because very often I believe that we need to also see what the environment is within ourselves. So not just energetically, but also physically. So I would also give exercises, homework to do, very often Qigong exercises, and even look at lifestyle. How much water do you drink? What's your nutrition? And so on. And I feel like that whole package then very often give the results also of the restless legs. The sleep quality will get better, and in the end, the fact they've forgotten what the initial complaint was very often as well.
Mm.
And for me, from my Tai Chi background, restless leg, using Danyus, so seated or standing. So they're just a method of moving that will move the energy through the system. So wherever there's an imbalance causing that pain and that restlessness, we can open that up really quickly. And a lot of people with that tool can easily use the tool when they wake up, have a problem, and usually they go back to sleep fairly easily, or they start putting it into their program through the day and into the evening, wherever they find that it's the most important for them. And then restless leg just disappears because they've already figured out how in the day they can solve that. And that process also can be done with meridian tracing, and sometimes like what I showed you today with the spine, T8 to T12 is where sometimes that problem is going to sit, and so we'd be able to really easily adjust that.
Great. And as for me, basically I connect with your subconscious mind, and then I'm being guided what it is that I need to release, reset, realign, in order to bring this back to, to a better place. Of course, that's in the part of the emotion code, the body code, and the belief code. But then also in the conversation, we will look at, what does it mean? Restless leg. What is behind the symptom really, and see if there's emotional misalignments that we can talk about and release in the conversation. Yeah. So just 3 different approaches, I guess, to one challenge. Right. So I guess now we're going to move on to Michelle, and we have a little PowerPoint.
We want to share with you a little bit about the program. So this might be a fit for you, might be a fit for a friend, might be someone that you know about that has been having a conversation about the challenges that they faced and that have been sticking around. So this information we hope is going to be helpful for both what you're looking for and also for those people around you, that perhaps you can be a resource for them. And so I'm just going to pull up now. I just have to expand this. There we go. All right, so our Aim for Greatness project has many components to it. And I'm just going to close out all of your pictures so I can see here. So we have an entry form that you go through at the beginning. What is the goal, your reason for being here? And then we keep track of those pieces, but you don't have to, because each session that we have, we're going to have goals that we're going to talk about and work on, things that have come up that are important to you. And then as we progress through the weeks and into the months, this gives you the opportunity to transform those pain points and move you into an action plan. We have an initial consultation. So you meet with us, the 3 of us together, and you get to challenge us with some of the things you're looking at, some of the things you want to have us bring into focus. And then we get to know you and a little bit about where some of your pain points are, but also what your goals and expectations are. And that initial consultation can be really valuable for all of us. We have group gatherings that we do once a month. In our first project, we didn't do that, and we quickly discovered that we all wanted to get together and we all wanted to be able to connect. So we set it up as a healing session and an opportunity for reflection and sharing. We try to provide the opportunity for you to interact with the other people, maybe in a breakout room with a question, and together you can brainstorm on your ideas. This has given an opportunity for people to really feel more support, but also for us to do some check-ins as well. We have a healing wheel, and this healing wheel is, it's how you participate, but it's also how we participate. So the 3 of us have our own daily practices that we do. We have the people that we send healing energy out to that goes on throughout the week. And as being a part of this beta group, you're a part of the process for each of us, of the 3 facilitators, but then you also become part of the healing wheel as I described. When your session happens, everybody else in the project is also benefiting. So we're really magnifying the potential that you have and how you want to work with that daily will depend on you, but you can really magnify it even further if you wish. We work with biofeedback. So that is, as Einav already shared with you, muscle testing. We're actually going into what the body wants to bring out as a priority. And we show you how to do that biofeedback so you can be doing it between sessions on your own. And then we also have it within our sessions. Each of us uses that biofeedback so we can find the priority changes that need to happen rather than hit and miss. We have a bioenergetic wellness formula. So when I worked on my dissertation, I thought I was looking at biofeedback and muscle monitoring, and I thought that was going to be my focus. And I quickly discovered that there are some key components that provide the space for us to have a goal, to be able to activate it, and actually to be able to move forward in the future and really attain the goals we're looking at. And this formula we use in all of the things that we do. So this is a way for you to start to include that in your daily activities. So everything you do becomes a healing activity. We have session resources. So we take session notes for you. If we want it recorded, we can do that. And then we can also provide you with the recording. We can make recommendations, add additional resources. And if there needs to be any follow-up after a session, then it can be with one of us or the three of us, depending on what's required. We have a post-session survey that we get you to fill out so we can see the transformation at the end of the time together, as well as looking back over time at what the reflections are and how things are going. We have our 9 personalized wellness sessions. And again, that's you coming in with a goal or an intention, us looking at what is the priority need at this time. And then we always check in with how long do you need to process or how much space do you need between sessions, so that you're not stacking them too closely together and nullifying some of the work that gets done. And that happens for people. Sometimes they'll book a massage, acupuncture, and then maybe they want to go to the spa or go in a hot tub, and they try to do it all at once, and the body doesn't have enough time to get the healing process started and the inspiration continued. So this is a way for us to really be able to hold that for you. And the last is documentation. So we really work on making sure that we have the ideas of where you want to go, how things are progressing, and then being able to go back and reflect. And I want to share a little bit of what some of that can look like for you. So I'm just going to move forward. So this is Emily. And you can see Emily's before picture in April and her picture in September. There was a lot of changes. Emily is an artist, and a lot of changes happened within her artwork and the way she set up her art. Her testimonial was, the idea of budgeting my energy and how I deploy it has changed my days. I'm looking at boundaries differently. I'm taking a lot of action towards what I want to experience as reality in my life. My allergies have more or less cleared. And that wasn't in her initial goal. That came up as we were going along, but is lovely. And I'm actively engaging in lifestyle changes. As facilitators, because we do our reflections as well after each session, so we know changes that occurred for us, new things that we discovered, opportunities to reflect on what happened in the session. So we watched Emily discover her power, and instead of waiting for things to happen to her that required action, she actually became the dreamer and she activated what she wanted. And she embraced the bioenergetic wellness formula as she was doing so. And we have Catherine on here today. So Catherine, this is her before picture and then her picture in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, of course, is going to make anybody smile, but it's lovely to see the transition in this beautiful picture. And the testimonial that Catherine shared with us was, I just recently returned from my trip, first one since 2019. And a few days before I left, I wasn't sure that I had the physical capacity for it, but I said yes and carried on and managed really quite well. And it's given me a lot to build upon and even more incentive to continue on and actually expand my path. And as facilitators, we watch Catherine push past the struggles to accept self-care and to be present to receive. And when she opened up there was this radiating smile that filled the room, and you could feel how the love opened. And it was lovely for all of us to be able to experience that with Catherine. And Catherine, when I finish this, if there's anything else you want to add, I'm more than willing to give you the floor for that. How can you participate? So one, if you think this is a fit for you, you could book a consultation with us. That would be the three of us and talking about your specific needs and how we think we can help you moving forward. You can just go ahead and join the beta group if you want to do that. And today that'll give you an opportunity to maximize on your wellness dollars with the opportunity we have for you today. You can gain access to our resources. All three of us are very active in the wellness community, and we have a lot of activities that we'll be able to provide and keep you inspired by. And then we have the group gatherings. So being able to come together and actually have conversation and expand our awareness and our learning. So our price options. So currently you may have been doing the continue as you are. You book an appointment, search for the answers. You've got time, money, and effort, one-on-one kinds of things. And as I described, sometimes you stack them close together and you can be nullifying some of the effects that are happening there. From that, you may have still been suffering from low energy. You may not have the eating habits you want. You may have stress levels that continue to rise, and then maybe some restlessness about your future and where you want to be going, what you want to be doing. So what we offer to you then is you can join our group. If you would like to be part of the monthly members where you just come in on that little group session, that would be putting your big toe in, and you can have a start at making some connections. And if you want to dive into our beta program, then you can take advantage of the discounts that we're still offering as we're continuing to develop this program. So our offering, when we have everything completely built, will be £1,500. And this session, we're offering £750 as the price. So we brought it down by half. But because you're here today and you've been listening to us and experiencing what we're talking about, we'd like to take another 100 off and offer you the whole package for £650. We're going to hold that spot until midnight on the 22nd because some people will be watching the recording, and we just want to make sure everybody has that opportunity to reflect on it and be a part of it. Further support we have for you. So your options to pay, it may be not easy to put that one sum together. So if that's the case, we're happy to talk about maybe 3 installments or another payment plan that will work for you. We want to just make sure that we're here and we can provide the support that you need. Bonus credit, if you have someone who also registers, then you can receive $100 towards your own fee, and then that may be able to help support you if that's something that you need. If you already did Beta 1, we are very happy to have you have this discounted rate, and we would love to continue expanding your healing potential. And if Beta 2 isn't possible, then starting November 21st, we'll be adding our monthly membership program. So you can join us for that £15 and a monthly healing session. Okay, somebody needs to be muted. So I'm not sure who's talking there. If you have questions, we're using Einav's email address. So you can send her a message and say, I'd like a discovery call, and we can offer 15 minutes to answer any questions you wanted to ask. And if you're all set to make this change, then you can book the opening session with us, again, using Einav's email at untangledcoaching.com. And I'm going to stop the share there and open the floor.
I would like to just say something. So I want to say thank you very much, but I have to run. I have to put my son to bed. He's waiting for me, and I will follow up on my email. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle. Awesome. Catherine, was there anything you wanted to follow up with after we put your pictures up there?
It was a surprise. I'm a little bit sleepy right now. I'm still trying to recover from my 4 hour time zone difference. So I'm a little bit not quite awake, but I would say that this is I've been on this um health healing journey and spiritual healing journey for a very long time. And it's all about the steps, and it has always been about the steps. And what I would say about the program is that it has enabled me to kind of step in a lot of different directions at the same time, when I've worked with many amazing practitioners in the past, it's almost been maybe a little bit one-dimensional, and it's been up to me to find uh, just as one would have to find a medical practitioner to deal with certain things. There was a lot of work around even knowing what it was I needed. So this program, I think, really uh, takes a lot of that work out of the way. And yeah, I've definitely found great benefit from working with all of you. And I would say that my biggest breakthrough in the program is not necessarily the physical part, because I can do it, but it's still there. Where the biggest breakthroughs for me are the spiritual, emotional, and those barriers. Like Einav was talking about the heart wall, and I really resonated a lot with that's my greatest achievement, I would say, in the past, just say 6 months for the sake of a number, has been around that. And I know through my other experience over these years that as I break through these different barriers, then my health improves, because rest assured, it is a whole lot more improved than it was 10 years ago. And obviously the trip that I was able to take was a real testament to that yes, you can, right? So I definitely do highly recommend that those folks that haven't participated, give it a try. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
I actually enjoyed watching you walk from your other room to this room.
I thought I turned the camera off.
No, but what was interesting was how easily you moved, and you actually bent down, picked something up, moved something around, turned around, and all these things without hesitation. You just moved. And that
Right.
was really interesting to watch.
Yeah, when we started, I had a really challenging night, and I was cold and I was sore, and I realized that my office wasn't conducive to comfort. So that's why I moved and I bent down to put my slippers on, and yeah, I definitely felt a shift in throughout the three different options that you showed us, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. And anything you wanted to follow up with?
No, I think it's amazing, and yeah, it's lovely also to share the energy this evening. I feel very uplifted, and it feels good. Yes.
Yes.
Anything
And
for you, Einav?
same for me. Very, very grateful to be able to share this space with everyone that's been here today. And thank you, Catherine, for this wonderful sharing
Yes,
of how you found it. It's really actually I hear it. I really it's thank you.
Thank you. I would often come into a session with whatever physical stuff, that's here, but it's not the thing. It's more what emotional or what spiritual or what needs to land, and I wouldn't have a clue. And I would always go away with something, right? That wasn't small. It was really always quite significant, and really part of moving forward in whatever way is needed or was needed at the time. And your willingness to listen through between the sessions was also very helpful for me, because that's the kind of processor that I am. Yeah, I actually I would say that the integration part was as important, or maybe perhaps more important than the session, if you can kind of quantify it, that alone time to really say, okay, well, what just happened, and what does it mean to me, and what can I do with it, rather than kind of one and done, which can often be the case with some modalities, I would say.
Mhm.
Very powerful.
Andrew or Kieran, do you have any questions?
Well, I don't have any questions, but I think it would be nice to share the experience that I've actually experienced during this sort of hour or so, in regards to, obviously, the three of you specializing in your various areas of expertise, and from Anne doing the belly button sort of physical process, to Einav obviously focusing on the heart, and then finally Dr. Greenwell focusing on our vertebrae and everything collectively. What that did for me through this session, through this hour or so, was that it opened up my chakras, and that's what I felt, and it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I'm currently doing quite a bit of work on myself. I mean, one of the key sort of things I'm working on and focusing on is how do you love yourself? This is a whole new kind of spectrum, which I'm going through a process. How long that takes, who knows? But yeah, I'm working on it. So it was really good to be part of what Einav sort of obviously delivered today. And then obviously with Anne's belly button experience was to just really kind of ease and take all that tension away that imparts some of my internal organs are sort of quite tense and not relaxed. And then finally, Dr. Greenwell's, vertebrae experience, in combination with a bit of Tai Chi, which makes sense. Ancient Chinese methods in regards to just opening up your whole chakras. And I feel great. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Awesome. One thing that's interesting is we have a choice. We have a choice whether we want to work on it or we just want to be. And so today we've heard a lot about working on, or timelines or processes. And so to just think about, because when I said the goals at the beginning, I said, make sure you don't say, I want to, I want to be there, I want to do this. You just want to be. That's it. I am this. So if I am full of energy and vitality, then you're done. But you can also work on it. So I like to work on it for my whole life. I want to work on it for another week. I want to work on it for 6 more months, whatever you decide, or you just want to be. So I just want to bring that idea to mind. Not saying I don't have my aches and pains every day. I do, but they are definitely my signal of what I need to engage in order to bring that energy and vitality back up. And then they're completely gone from my mind. I just move on. So I just wanted to bring that idea up so you can think about, do I want to work at it, or do I want to play? Do I want to enjoy? And what that might mean for you. All right.
Thank you.
Kieran, is there anything for you? Nope.
Sure. Sarah Jane, anything for you? Oh, good. Well, I want to say thank you for everyone who's been here, and of course everyone who is going to watch the webinar, the recording later. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you think any of the options that Michelle mentioned, if they feel right for you, then please do get in touch. I think there is a really nice discount that is available until midnight Pacific on the 22nd. So reach out if you feel that this is for you. And if not, then that's also okay. And maybe our path will, cross whenever the time is right. But thank you so much for everyone for being here today.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.